PNR Networks is a member of Patreon. Show your love for our shows by joining our ongoing fundraising campaign and get some fantastic perks in return. Check it out and become a Patreon sponsor. You can sign up at patreon.com, patreon.com/PNR Networks. And thanks for your support.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Do you ever feel like you're normal and the rest of the world has lost its collective mind?
Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds of 3.
Do you find people saying this to you a lot?
Are you totally deranged?
Are you looking for a looking glass to pass through?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Or looking for a rabbit hole to fall down?
Who could think of a better punishment, really? Everything's the same here. It's just a little worse.
Guess what?
Life's a bitch. Now so am I.
You found it. Welcome to Platinum Rose's Garden.
Well, hello, my darlings, and welcome to Platinum Rose's Garden for another week. This is Platinum Rose Lady, your host, and I'm hoping everybody out there had a great week. My week was pretty good. So, obviously, what to talk about? Obviously, we have to talk about something that I did not bring up last week, which I need to bring up now, mea culpa, because, of course, and we all know mea culpa is Latin for I'm a dumbass. We get a season 13, bitches! This is so awesome. Supernatural has been renewed for a season 13, which is really awesome and terrific news and definitely worth a Kermit flail. Yay! And a Snoopy happy dance, and I'm totally sorry that I forgot to bring that up last week because, as I have mentioned, I am an idiot. I am so excited about this news. We did it. You know, we are awesome, and Supernatural is awesome, and we can't wait, you know, for season 13 because I'm having a blast with season 12. I don't know about you guys, but I am enjoying the hell out of season 12 so far. I think it's been really great. I also want to bring up some really awesome, excellent news that we found out earlier this week. That Supernatural guest, and we consider her an unofficial Winchester here at Platinum Rose's Garden. Felicia Day, who played the wonderful Charlie, has had her baby. She had a little girl. Her little girl's name is Calliope Maeve. And we are so happy for Felicia and her baby. Congratulations and much love to Felicia and her family. Yay! I think it's awesome. That's just beyond cool. She's going to be such a great mom. I also cannot wait for Felicia to be part of the cast of the rebooted, redoing, however you want to put it, of Mystery Science Theater 3000, which will be coming back to Netflix. I was a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it when it was on Comedy Central. Did get to watch it on Sci-Fi Channel and totally loved it. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm so glad that she's going to be part of the rebirth of MST3K. I can't wait. Going to be wicked, wicked exciting. So, what else can we talk about? Oh yeah, you might have heard about this thing that's going on this weekend, this kind of sports event thingy. You know, it might have gotten a little bit of mention, you know. I don't know, maybe, you know, this whole Super Bowl thing. I'm so sick of this. I have to say that quietly because I'm pretty sure if you say that too loud in New England right now, you're going to get the living shit kicked out of you by furious football fans. Yes, the Super Bowl is tomorrow, going to be held in Houston between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. And everybody is terribly excited about this. Except me. Well, me and a few other people. I won't mention them either because I won't mention their names because I don't want them to get their asses kicked either. It's just, oh my gosh. This has been all they have been talking about on the news up here all week long. It's just Super Bowl this and Super Bowl that and what the Patriots are doing and yada yada flambe. And oh, by the way, some other shit happened. You know, it's just like, oh my gosh, really? It's a football game. Get over it. You know, but I mean, it's exciting for people who are into that sort of thing. Sorry, Jared. Sorry, Jensen. I know you guys are wicked big Cowboys fans. I just don't get football. I'm sorry. I don't get it. There's too many rules. I can't tell who's who, and I just don't care. You know, I'm sorry. I don't care. I can't work up the passion for it. I'm sorry. But everybody else around me has been just totally excited. It's all everybody's been talking about at work. You know, Super Bowl parties where, you know, are you having a party? Did you bet money? You know, how much you think they're going to win by, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's talking to me about it because I've been totally giving off this aura of, I don't care. Don't talk to me about it. You know, I'm sorry. I just can't get worked up about it. The thing that always cracks me up is that, side rant here, sorry. You know, I know me and a lot of my listeners out there, hopefully you're out there, you know, we're obviously fans of horror because we're all fans of supernatural. And, you know, we're fans of science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. And we get told all the time that we're weird, you know. But being a sports fan is totally okay. All right. Whatever, you know. You want to sit out in the middle of some, you know, open air field in January with half your body painted green and the other half painted yellow with a big foam of cheese on your head, you know, fine. But I'm the weirdo because I like Star Trek. Whatevs. Okay. So anyway, moving on. We're over here now. And we are getting to this week's Supernatural episode recap.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.
Season 12, Episode 10 of Supernatural. Lily Sunder has some regrets. The then of the episode begins with angels and what we know about angels and the fact that angels in the supernatural reality anyway are not the angels that we picture in art or television or things like that. You know, angels are fierce warriors, and they don't really, for the most part, seem to have a very good opinion of humans, for the most part, at least until they get to know us. We also had Lucifer possessing the President of the United States and continuing the President's affair with an aide named Kelly, who Lucifer manages to get pregnant. Obviously, you know, the whole Nephilim thing being a bad thing in the supernatural universe. Yeah, this is that, only worse. And also the whole thing where Sam and Dean escaped from the prison that they were in by faking their deaths with the help of Billy, the Reaper, whom they made a pact with. And Billy was going to take one of the Winchesters at midnight. When Mary offered to step up and be the Winchester that would die for Sam and Dean, Castiel wound up killing Billy. And even though there were threats of cosmic consequences and all that kind of stuff. And now we're at Now. And Now turns out to be a bar where a young African-American woman is playing a video game. And it looks like she's the only person in the bar besides the bartender. And the bartender is trying to close. As Semisonic once said, we've hit closing time. Music reference. Anyway. And the young woman is very involved in her game, which is the arcade game Rampage, which I've actually never played. I can't believe I've never played this game because you play kaiju and you're knocking down buildings. I'm like, why have I never played this? Anyway. The bartender says that he's going to be shutting down. He's going to take the trash out, and when he comes back, he's going to shut the lights off and leave, so she better be ready to go. Unfortunately, it turns out to be game over a little quicker than that because another woman joins the person playing the video game, standing next to them, a woman with an eye patch who makes it very clear that she is there for a reason. and that she also knows who this woman is. And it actually turns out this woman is an angel named Benjamin. Okay. And this woman, obviously, the woman with the eye patch, has some sort of beef with this angel that winds up causing the angel to be killed by being stabbed with an angel blade. And this woman's obviously got some major juice with her. But before the angel dies, it sends out a cry for help for other angels, specific angels from the look of things. And one of those angels, as it turns out, is Castiel. And then we get the opening credits, and we cut back to the Batcave in Lebanon, Kansas. Sam and Dean are looking at the wall of evidence that they have up about Kelly Klein. Again, Castiel has also been looking for her, the whole pregnant with the devil's baby thing. But she has apparently dropped off the face of the earth. And if an angel can't find you, you're pretty well hid, I guess. You have to wonder if that's the fetus growing inside her, growing into what? I have no idea. Maybe like shielding her or something. I don't know. Speculating, blue skying. Anyway, we also know that we find out from Dean, who spoke to Mary. Mary is currently hunting a possible shapeshifter case in Atlanta, and she's doing okay. She doesn't need the guy's help right now. Okay, which Dean seems a little irked about, but Sam's like, she's a hunter. She knows what she's doing. It also turns out that things have been pretty tense around the Batcave recently, because Castiel and Dean haven't talked about what happened with Billy that night where Castiel, killed Billy. And Dean's concerned. Dean's worried for his friend, but Dean being Dean, right now just can't come out and say that he's worried. He's just, kind of covering up his concern with silence and on occasion snark. Castiel tells them, the brothers, that he's going to go and check on the call that he had received from this angel named Benjamin, that he turns out that they were in the same garrison together at one point. And the guys, say they're going to come along. Dean being a little bit more dickish about it than necessary. I'm sorry. I know that phrase just made every Dean diva out there want to grab a torch and come after me. But, it's kind of like when you love somebody, you can tell them that when you love somebody enough, you can tell them you're being a dick. That's the way I feel. We see the Winchesters and Cass driving to the location where Cass felt this call from. Sam's in the front seat with Dean, and Cass is in the back. A lot of silence, glaring, and stuff not getting said. Sam's, request about turning on the radio being shot down. You can tell Sam's pretty much of the opinion, I'm going to stick my head out the window. Oh, no, wait, it's raining. Kind of thing. I can't deal with this anymore. As Sam tries to get them to talk about things, and that's not happening. Although they do find out some more about Benjamin from Cass. They find out that Benjamin was very close to his vessel, that he and his vessel had been together for a very long time. His vessel was a very pious and religious person and very strong in their faith. And to Benjamin, this person was more than just a vessel. They were friends. And Cass is very worried because he feels like this, that Benjamin was a good fighter and, could take care of himself, and he wouldn't have called for them unless there was some kind of a problem. So we cut back to a hotel where we see this woman that we saw earlier, the woman with the eye patch, lying on a bed, and she seems to be reciting some kind of a spell or something. I don't know. It's got a rhythmic sort of a chant going to it, so it's obviously not just talking in her sleep kind of thing. At the bar, the Winchesters and Cass go into their whole "we're the FBI" mode. The bartender offers a supposition that what might have happened involved a cult or something because of the burn marks on the floor that look suspiciously like angel wings. And Cass tells the bartender to get out. No subtlety, no requesting to leave, just get out. And the bartender leaves because if Cass used that voice on me, I'd get out too. If Cass used that voice on me and told me to get on my knees and bark like a dog, the next thing you'd hear would be bark. Because I'm kind of a slut like that. I'm an angel groupie. I can't believe I'm an angel groupie. So Dean finds an angel blade that was tossed to knocked to the floor in the battle between Benjamin and this woman. But it turns out that the blade isn't Benjamin's. All of a sudden, Cass gets this kind of look on his face like he's hearing something from very far away, and the woman in the hotel room says Castiel's name, and he tells the Winchesters that they need to leave. They need to get out of the building, and go someplace like right now. We cut back to the hotel, and the woman gets up off of the bed and kisses a picture that's on the desk next to the bed. Now, the curious thing about this picture is that it's very old. It's a very old, sepia-toned kind of picture of of a child holding a doll. And from the child's clothing and hairstyle and the doll, the way the doll is made, you can tell it's a very old picture, like, early 1900s, late 1800s, sometime in there. We see we come to another place where we're outside the place is a diner that Castiel is going to go into. He's going to meet with another angel that he knew named Isham. And he tells Sam and Dean that Isham had told him to come alone, and so he's going to go in alone. Sam and Dean are not happy about this, but they do stay behind. Castiel goes into the diner and is met by not only Isham, who is in a male vessel, but another angel named Mirabelle, who is in a female vessel. We don't really know all that much about Isham and Mirabelle at first, other than the fact that neither of them seem terribly pleased to see Cass, and it's very much a very tense reunion. Isham's got a real chip on his shoulder when it comes to humans, and also to Cass himself. Cass finds out from Isham and Mirabelle that other angels that were part of their garrison have been killed since the fall, and they've been killed the same way Benjamin was. Dean and Sam are still outside, and Sam's leaning up against the Impala watching Dean fret, and he's like, "You're going to go in right about now." And Dean turns around and starts going into the building, and so does Sam, because Sam's not waiting outside if Dean's going in there. Fuck that. The angels do not look happy to see Sam and Dean. Cass doesn't look very happy that they disobeyed him, and he looks even less happy when Dean and Sam squish their way into the seat that the bar, the bench that they're on, the diner bench, because it's kind of snug now. I mean, seriously? Personal space? Dean's always talking about that. Now we have no personal space at all. Isham tells Mirabelle to go outside and check to make sure that the Winchesters and Cass weren't followed. Mirabelle does go outside, away from the diner, walks down the alley, into an alley, and winds up being attacked by this same woman with the eye patch, and also winds up being killed by her. While they are talking inside, and Isham is still slinging around abuse at both the Winchesters and Cass, Isham then tells them that he has a safe house they can go to, and he goes outside to get Mirabelle. Isham instead finds Mirabelle's body and is then attacked and injured by the woman wielding the angel blade. During the attack, though, Isham gets close enough to try to smite this woman, and we see the light coming out of her eyes and her mouth and all that, and all of a sudden we see it going back in, and she tells him that he can't smite her. And Castiel winds up running out to try and stop this woman from killing Isham as well. And the Winchesters also come out, guns drawn. And the thing is, Cass looks at this woman, and we see he recognizes her, and we also see a flashback of some point where this woman had two eyes and was wearing this kind of older garb, and her hair was pinned up, and she looked different, but he can definitely tell it's the same woman from some time in the past. Sam and Dean point their guns at her and she says she doesn't want to hurt humans, which is an odd thing to say. She creates this really bright light from her hand, and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter to the point of almost like, staring into the sun kind of bright, and causes enough of a distraction with that she's able to get in her car and drive off. Dean is blinded by this. He's, he's holding onto Sam's shoulder, and saying that he can't see. Sam obviously managed to get his hand up over his eyes quick enough because he got the license plate number of her car. And we have commercial, and we come back, and it turns out Issam's safe house is a church, which looks like it's been disused. It's the whole thing of it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's falling apart, but it looks like it hasn't been used in a while. I don't know if that means it's a desanctified church or not. They didn't really make that very clear. Whatever. So as Castiel's trying to heal Isham's wound and, check him out and his injuries and stuff, Castiel tells Sam and Dean that he does know that woman, although it's impossible because of the time frame. He tells them of a time back in 1901 in Orono, Maine, when there was a group of angels that were sent to Earth because of something they were needed for. The angels included Benjamin, Mirabel, Isham, another angel that we never found out their name, and Castiel, who at the time was wearing the vessel of a young woman. Isham tells them that they have come to this home because an angel has come to Earth, gotten involved with a human, married a human woman, and that a Nephilim was born from that union. And I really don't like where this is going. It turns out the angel's name is Achabel, and he tries to protect the people that are in the house, telling the angels that they need to leave and all this stuff like that. But when his wife comes out, who we see is the lady from before, who we find out her name is Lily Sunder, Achabel tells her to go back in the house. Achabel is killed by the angels, and Isham goes into the house alone. We hear the woman screaming something about "get away from my child," and we hear this younger child scream, and then we're back. Now, all of this happens. The other angels, including Cass, are taking away Achabel's vessel to dispose of it. The only one that goes into the house is Isham. Back in the present, you can tell Sam and Dean are very shook up by this, because this seems so cold and not the Cass they know, not the Cass that is their friend. It certainly doesn't seem like the Cass that, Dean has said, you're like another brother to me. But Cass insists that it was the right thing to do, that they had to do this because a Nephilim is an abomination against heaven. And as I said, it turns out the woman was Lily Sunder. She was the woman that Achabel married. Isham says that the reason why she's still alive and she still is so young and has all these, obviously has some kind of magic ability. He says that she made some kind of demonic pact to be young and strong and, to hunt these angels down. Sam is of the opinion that they need to try and reason with Lily, try to prove at least that it's very obvious that Sam and Dean really don't give two shits about Isham because he's a fucking jerk. But it's about Cass. They don't want this woman to come after Cass. And Sam's of the opinion that he wants to try and reason with Lily and prove to her that Castiel has changed. We cut back to the hotel where Lily manages to heal the wound that she received in the battle, but it took a lot out of her. You can tell that from the way she looks on the look on her face. Castiel heals Isham, who continues to talk about humans in a very disparaging way, talking about how humans and angels shouldn't mix with each other because it's not because angels are a danger to humans, it's because humans are a danger to them. Castiel's response to that is that he feels that his friendship with Sam and Dean has made him stronger. And I happen to be of the agreement. Sam and Dean track Lily down to the hotel where she's staying, which leads to a standoff in the hallway of the hotel where they're basically like, we don't want to have to kill you. And she's like, I don't want to have to kill you either. And Sam, tells her they know about her, they know about what happened, about her daughter being an Nephilium. And she's like, looks at them with this look like, what the fuck did you just say? And she explains the past as it really happened. As it turned out, Lily had a daughter, and her daughter's name was May, and her father wasn't Achabel. She had May before she and Achabel were married. Lily was a studier of angels. She researched them all of her life and learned a spell to summon angels. And the angel that she had wound up summoning was Isham. And Isham and she began a relationship where she learned from him, and he taught her about angels, taught her all about Enochian lore and Enochian magic and all this stuff like that. But the thing is, while this was happening, he was falling in something with her. I wouldn't call it love. He was falling in obsession with her, I suppose. He told himself that he loved her and got obsessed with her to the point where she sought out another angel to protect her, to keep Isham away from her, and that other angel turned out to be Achabel. And at some point, she and Achabel obviously fell in love and got married. When Isham came into the house that day back in 1901, after he had killed Achabel outside, he used his angelic powers to push Lily away from her daughter and to hold her while he took out his angel blade and murdered May for the sole purpose of hurting Lily. And she tells, Lily tells our horrified Sam and Dean that May was human, and they realize, oh my God, Castiel was used. All those other angels were used by Isham in this sick plot for revenge. This was nothing to do with the Nephilium being born. It was all about Isham wanting to hurt Lily. And you can see the look on Sam and Dean's face like, oh my God, we left Castiel back there with that maniac. Dean calls Cass on his, there's no answer on his phone. Dean says he's going to go check on Cass, and Sam stays with Lily. Back at the church, Castiel manages to heal Isham fully, and Castiel is left weakened by that experience and also can't find his phone, which obviously is very not a good sign. Sam and Lily talk, and he finds out from her that what she's been using all this time, what a surprise, Isham kept lying to them, what she uses isn't from some demonic pact. It isn't from dark magic. It's from what she learned being a person that researched the angels. It's Enochian magic. But, Enochian magic wielded by a human comes with a price. Part of that price being her eye. Kind of like Odin sacrificing his eye for wisdom in Norse mythology, I guess. But it even gets worse than that, because we find out that the use of her using other spells, takes away and burns away part of her soul every time she uses them. And oh man, when she says that, you can see the look on Sam's face of, oh no. It's just this awful, sad look. She says, every time I use one of their spells, a piece of my soul burns away. And once it's gone, and he says, you won't feel anything anymore. You won't care about anything anymore. You won't be human anymore. And Sam's speaking from experience there. Because, that whole thing where he was soulless for a while in season 6. Also known as the point in time when Kim just felt like dying because it was just so horrible to see Sam like that. He was like this statue. He was so beautiful, but he was so cold. She brings up that she used to dream about her daughter, and now she doesn't dream about anything. But she does tell Sam that that Isham, when Dean goes to confront Isham, that Isham will kill him because he can't afford for what really happened that day to come out, because he's got too much influence in heaven. And she tells him, when your brother's dead, you won't stand in my way anymore. You'll help me. And for that, I can wait. Because she's waited this long for the right time to strike against the angels, because she couldn't strike against them when they were powerful and they had their wings. She had to wait all this time, wait for the angels to fall. And that's when she started her plan of vengeance. Dean finds Cass back at the church, and Cass is very weak, and manages to tell Cass what Lily told them. And Cass is just like completely, he can't believe it. He doesn't want to believe it. You can tell. When Isham appears, he's very calm and very casual. And like I said, Castiel learns about what happened, and Isham tries to, first he tries to be like, she lied to Dean. She's telling him lies and all this stuff like that. And then he tries to be like, you're going to listen to him, meaning Dean, over me. And it's very obvious that even to someone who can be naive, as Cass can be, sorry Cass fans, Isham's lying, that everything Dean heard from Lily was the truth, and that Castiel took part in something really horrible, which he didn't even mean to. Isham attacks, throwing Dean against a wall, and beats the living shit out of Castiel, and tells Castiel that he's going to make him stronger by cutting out the thing that makes him weak, and that would be Dean. He goes to kill Dean, but when he gets closer, he sees that Dean has drawn an angel banishing sigil in the wall of the church with his blood, which Isham points out that if Dean slams his hand into the wall and activates the sigil, it's going to banish every angel in the room. And that would be fine when it comes to banishing Isham, but the other problem is that it would also banish Cass. And in Cass's weakened condition, it could kill him. And Dean realizes this and lowers his hand. He can't do it. He cares about Cass. We all know he does. And he doesn't want Cass to get hurt anymore. When Isham uses this moment to go forward to try and hurt Dean, Lily and Sam show up. Sam runs to Dean while Lily and Isham battle with angel blades, and Lily manages to take off the eye patch and focus more of this Enochian magic through it. Her eye is still there, but it's like filmed over. I was like, thank goodness it's not just an empty eye socket, because I can deal with a lot of stuff. I can't deal with eye stuff, man. Stuff happens with eyes. I gotta leave the room. I can't deal. And she kind of pushes Isham back. He's up against the wall, but he is fighting the magic and keeps moving toward her, but at a slower pace, which is long enough for Castiel to pick up an angel blade and stab Isham in the back with it. Blade comes up through his chest. Big light show, and Isham is destroyed. Castiel kind of just drops to his knees because he's still very weak, looking up at Lily. And he apologizes. He tells her that he was wrong and that he didn't know what they were doing involved the fact that they were going to wind up killing an innocent child would die. But as he says, ignorance is no excuse. I truly can't imagine the depths of your loss. This was your child. I can't imagine the pain. So if you leave here and find that you can't forgive me, I'll be waiting. And Lily thanks him and leaves. I mean, she shows that probably, I don't know how much of her soul is burned away, but I think there's more of her soul left than even she thinks. Because she realizes that Cass didn't know. He really didn't know. They were all lied to, and they were all fooled by Isham and his sick quest for revenge. We cut back to the Bat Cave. Obviously, some time has gone by. Not a lot, because they're still all pretty banged up. Dean tells Cass that he's not weak. And Sam says, I mean, obviously you've changed, but it's all been for the better, man. And Dean mentions that they've been on this nutty ride together, and that during all that time, Cass has never backed down. Never once has he backed down. Never once has he stopped being on the Winchester's side. You know, I mean, there's been slips and bumps and fuck-ups along the way, but he's always been there with them in the end of things. And Dean also actually does open up a little bit, gasp, to Cass, saying that the way he's been acting, it's not because he's angry with what Cass did when it comes to killing Billy. He's worried. He's worried that by killing Billy, Cass might have brought down some real bad stuff on his head. And he worries because Cass means a lot to him. They've all got a drink by now, and Dean asks what they're going to drink to, and what they should do, and Cass says that they should drink, and that they should drink to hope. The whole idea that when it comes to this whole issue with Kelly Klein, who they haven't been able to find yet, and they don't know what they're going to do once they do find her. I mean, this is the first Nephilim that's been created from the union of a human and an archangel. We've dealt the Nephilim that we've dealt with so far have only been the union between a human and an angel, and that's been pretty powerful. A human and an archangel, and specifically that archangel is Lucifer. Who knows? But Sam does mention that in the end of things, it's still a mother and child, and that Cass doesn't know what he's going to do in that situation when it gets there. But that when they do drink together at the end of the episode, they say that Cass mentions that they're drinking to hope, that they can find a better way to do things than just march in there and kill something. And the episode ends. I really enjoyed Lily Sunder Has Some Regrets. I give it 4 bouquets out of 5. And I'd like to talk about something. I'm gonna mention it in the closing of my show. About fans and divisions. And I'd just like to bring that up. I'll talk about it in just a sec. I enjoyed the episode quite a lot. I really enjoyed Alicia Witt, who played Lily, who got to live and walk away at the end of the episode. Maybe we'll see Lily again. I don't know. I kind of hope we do, to be honest with you. And I hope, and I mean this, I hope wherever she is, whatever she does, wherever she goes, I hope Lily Sunder finds some peace and less regret. I really do. Next week's episode regarding Dean. We know that Rowena is back for this episode because Sam and Dean need her help, because Dean has been hit by a spell that is causing him to lose his memory rapidly. And while that might lead to some fun stuff along the way where, a Dean that's less burdened by all the terrible memories of the things that he's gone through, once he's getting to the point where he can't remember Sam anymore, that's definitely when the fun stops. And hopefully everything will be able to get fixed. But we'll have to wait till next week to find out. Okay, before I head off into the Sunset Kids, I'd like to actually talk about something that's been kind of bothering me. Now, hopefully this will not turn into a profanity-laced tirade like last week. For anybody that I offended last week with all of that, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't regret what I said. I often regret what I say, but last week I actually don't regret what I said. And this week I'm not talking about my rampaging spirit animal, because the bear seems to be hibernating right now. What I want to talk about is factions when it comes to fans, specifically when it comes to fans of Supernatural, because this is something that I've noticed more with Supernatural fans than I have with other fans. Now there are a lot of people out there that are Dean divas, and there are a lot of people out there that are Samazons, and there are a lot of people out there that are Cass fans. I'm sorry I haven't come up with a good name for you. All I've got is castanets. Don't shoot me. And that's great. If you are a fan of one character, if you like one character more than another character or whatever, that's great. What bothers me is the fact that some people are like, well, because this week's episode is a Cass-heavy episode or a Dean-heavy episode or a Sam-heavy episode, it's going to suck. And all of this talk about Cass being a third wheel. I'm sorry, that just bothers me. First of all, you don't know if an episode's going to suck before you see it. So going out there and saying XYZ is going to suck even before it airs because the episode is not about your favorite character doesn't mean the episode is going to suck. It just means you're being prejudiced. And when I say prejudice, I don't mean racist. I mean prejudice. Prejudice means prejudging something. You are prejudging that an episode is going to suck because it doesn't focus on your favorite character. Don't do that. That's a douchey thing to do. Okay? The other thing is the people out there that have labeled Cass a third wheel. I don't know why this started, and I don't like it. The attitude that I get from some people in the Supernatural universe, not everybody, but with some people in the Supernatural fan universe, seem to have this attitude that the only two people that Supernatural should ever be about ever are Sam and Dean Winchester, and that's it. And no, that's wrong. I don't usually like to say somebody's opinion is wrong, but that opinion is wrong. The Supernatural universe, and it is a universe by now, if a show has been on for 12 seasons, I can't think of any other fucking thing to have other than calling the lore and the mythos around it a universe. Just like the Marvel universe, or the DC universe, or the Marvel movie universe, which is different than the Marvel comic universe, and I'm going to stop that before I cause a headache. But when you have a universe, you cannot just have two people in it. I never heard of anybody daring to refer to Bobby Singer as a third wheel. I don't understand why people feel like having new characters come in is a bad thing. The spotlight doesn't always have to shine directly on Sam and Dean, because if you're a true fan of the show, you always know that at the end of the day, the show is about Sam and Dean. Even if the show focuses for one episode or 2 episodes or whatever on other characters, at the end of the day, it is still about Sam and Dean. And I don't understand why people can't just accept that. I really don't get why it seems like the Supernatural fan universe has this issue. I mean, I have been a Trekkie my whole life. Star Trek has always been part of my life. I can never ever remember a point where it wasn't part of my life. And never in the whole time I've been a Star Trek fan have I ever heard Star Trek fans bitch and be like, well, so-and-so character is a third wheel. No. Every character is important. Every character has purpose. Every character has meaning to get the story from point A to point Z. Now, I'm not saying that some characters are annoying. Aren't annoying. And I'm not saying that I would never be I'm not saying that I would be unhappy if we never saw some characters again, Becky Rosen. But even a character like Becky, whom I wanted to punch in the face with a roll of dimes, Becky, not the actress playing Becky. Want to get that out there. That's called cover your ass, boys and girls. She had a purpose in the story. And I just feel like it's this, like Doctor Who. Doctor Who's another great example. I mean, the Doctor Who universe is huge. It's enormous. And you have people that were fans of, this incarnation of the Doctor they liked more than that incarnation of the Doctor. Does that make them wrong? No, of course not. But they would admit, even if it's an incarnation they don't like, that incarnation of the Doctor is important because it is part of the whole mythos of the Doctor. You see what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I'm overly sensitive. I don't know. It just irritates me, especially when I see stuff online where people say really hateful shit, usually about Cass. And it bothers me. It bothers me even more when these people who don't like Cass as a character, which is their right, they don't need to be such shits about it, but it is their right, they're not fans of Cass, but they go out of their way to be nasty to Misha Collins. Now that's just fucking stupid. That's like hating Christoph Waltz because he played Blofeld in Spectre. I'm sure Christoph Waltz is a wonderful person. He's played bad guys in almost pretty much everything that he's ever been in ever. But that's because he's really good at it. Does that mean he's a bad person in real life? No. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. But that's my point. If you don't like a character, fine. Don't like the character. But don't turn around and hate on the actor and call the actor a bunch of horrible, mean names because you don't like their character. That's asinine. I mean, really, it is asinine. So just, my whole thing basically, I guess it all boils back down to the internet, and that a lot of people feel like they can say whatever they want on the internet to whomever they want and get away with it because you're not talking to somebody face to face. My attitude when it comes to internet etiquette is this. If you wouldn't say whatever you're about to say to somebody's face, don't say it over the internet. Now, I realize some people might be like, but you've said a whole bunch of outrageous things on the internet. And you know what? I would say those things to somebody's face, too. Probably because, I'm not well. I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every minute of it. But I will be the first to admit that there are occasions when I am extraordinarily fucking reckless and should keep my mouth shut and don't. And I've paid for that in verbal lashings and other things like that, but still, I had the balls to say it to somebody's face, which is more than I can say for some of these shit stains that go online and trash people. So, just something from me to you. What else can I talk to you guys about? Okay, well, I can talk about the other shows that I'm involved with on the net, which I hope you will come and take a listen to as well. Those shows would include Subject Cinema over at subjectcinema.com, which is the movie podcast that I do with my dear, sweet, long-suffering husband, TC. It's a movie podcast where we talk about movie reviews and movie news and all kinds of fun stuff like that there. We also have our other shows, which include our list show, Front Row 5 and 10. This past week was a really fun show. We each did our top 10 favorite segments from Animaniacs, which was a show in the 90s we were hopelessly addicted to. And we still quote because we're nerds. Yay! And it's just a great fun show. A lot of laughs, and I hope you'll check it out over at Front Row 5 and 10. I would also like to do a little plug for a show that TC is doing by himself called Catastrophe Vortex. Now, this show is about disaster movies. And when I say disaster movies, I don't mean stuff like from Justin to Kelly. I mean disaster movies about earthquakes and floods and fires and meteor storms and, all those movies where stuff gets blown up that doesn't involve giant robots or superheroes. Those kind of movies. He is very much a fan of those movies, and he has this podcast where he talks about them. And if you're a fan of those kind of movies, or if you know someone that is, if you could tell them about that show, that would be great, because he puts a lot of work into it, and he's very knowledgeable about that stuff. I'm so lucky I'm involved with a guy who's smart and cute. I got the jackpot. And there's also our friends, the Lion family, Eric and Valerie and their kids and grandkids and whoever else they can have show up and talk on their mic, who have their show Cave Babble, which has games and music and movies, and Cave Babble eats odd things. They eat odd stuff, so you don't have to. I hope you'll check them out over at cavebabble.com. They're really fun, fantastic people. And that is going to do it for me for another week here on Platinum Rose's Garden. If you would like to write to me, you can send that to platinumroselle@yahoo.com. Put PRG in the header, and I will be glad to read your missive on the air. If you'd like to check me out over on Twitter, I'm platinumroselle at twitter.com. You can also read my fic, which is over at fanfiction.net under Platinum Rose Lady. I hope you will check me out over there and leave a comment if you like my stuff. So, here we are on the eve before the whole big football hoopla thing. I know it's called the Super Bowl. Don't yell. So this is Platinum Rose Lady signing off for another week, and hoping you guys have a great week coming up. And remember to love the ones you hug the ones you love, and take some time to stop and smell the roses. Go Patriots! I'm obligated to say that.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.